This section covers the Hunger Games chapters 1 through 3. Students are responsible for this material so that they can perform well on quizzes and in-class activities to follow. Students will be able to summarize the main events of the selection. Students will be able to discuss the themes developed in the selection. Students will be able to identify and discuss the symbols presented in the selection. Students will be able to discuss the important characters in the selection. Students will be able to find key terms from the selections. Your keywords are setting, plot, character development, theme, symbol, post-apocalyptic, reaping. The story is set in the country of Panem, which arose in a post-apocalyptic North America after a series of natural disasters destroyed what we knew as the United States. It was formed with a strong central power in the capital that was located in the Rockies, and 13 districts. When the districts rebelled against the tyranny of the capital, warfare broke out, and this led to the annihilation of District 13 and the institution of the Hunger Games. The story begins in District 12, a poor coal mining district. Katniss lives in the Seam, a further impoverished section of District 12. You should be aware of the characters Katniss Everdeen, Primrose Everdeen, Peeta Mellark, Haymitch Abernathy, and Effie Trinket. You will need to be able to track the development of these characters throughout the story, as well as know their significance. Also, you need to complete the Edmodo discussion board activity in regards to character development. Our story begins on the day of the reaping, with Katniss and Gale meeting up to do some hunting and gathering in the woods. They discuss rebelling against the capital by running away and avoiding the Hunger Games forever. However, because they have families they would not be able to bring with them, who would starve without their provisions, Katniss and Gale decide this is not a possibility. They take what they've caught and they go back to trade in the Hob and deliver some strawberries to the mayor's house, where they meet Madge, the mayor's daughter. Katniss is friends with the mayor's daughter, and Madge is dressed for the reaping. Gale becomes angry with her, and Katniss explains that the reaping is the process by which contestants' tributes are drawn for the Hunger Games. When you are 12, your name goes into the drawing one time. 13, twice. This doubles every year until you are 18. However, those who are poor can gain additional ballots in the reaping by purchasing tessera, which are selections of grain that they can make food with. For each tessera, you get an additional ballot. So the poor are more likely to be selected than the wealthy. They go on to the reaping ceremony, where the mayor explains that the Hunger Games works with one boy and one girl being sent from each of the 12 districts to compete in a fight to the death. The winner, or victor, returns home to his or her district, and their district is showered with food for the remaining year. Only two have ever won in District 12, one of which is still living, Haymitch Abernathy. He arrives to the ceremony drunk and merely falls off the stage trying to hug Effie Trinket. The reaping begins, and Primrose Everdeen is selected, even though she only has one ballot in the entire selection. Katniss immediately volunteers, and Prim has to be restrained by Gale. Katniss refuses to cry as she enters the stage so that she will not appear weak. Peeta Mellark is then drawn, and the tributes are taken to the Justice Building, where they meet with their friends and family to say goodbye. Katniss makes her mother promise not to fall apart again. She receives a promise from Peeta's father not to let her family go hungry. Gale also promises to make sure that Prim and her mother do not starve. Her friend Madge then arrives and says goodbye, and she gifts her with the golden Mockingjay pin that she was wearing to the reaping. She asks Katniss to wear this pin in the arena. The tributes are then taken to the train station, where they leave District 12. Themes that students should be aware of include poverty. The districts are poor. District 12 is poorer than other districts. The Seam is poor. Katniss is a poor girl. Peeta has more money. There are constant situations wherein the money or the lack of money is brought to the attention of the reader. Tyranny and oppression. We know from the beginning that the capital is too strong for anyone else to rebel against. This is oppressive, and that the people underneath the rule of the capital chafe underneath this and hate it. The importance of appearances. We see from the very beginning how Katniss refuses to cry. They dress up for the reaping. It is important to appear how you want people to perceive you, and Katniss persistently shows this throughout the Hunger Games. The odds. Effie Trinket tells people that the odds should ever be in their favor, but Katniss and Gale illustrate that when you are poor, the odds are never in your favor. Symbols. Our Mockingjay pin is the very first symbol we see in this story. The Mockingjay is significant because we are told the capital bred them as part of the war. We will hear more about the Mockingjay later, and its rebellion is important. At this point in time, you need to go back and make sure that you have your notes in order, take the practice quiz on Blend Space, and complete the discussion activities on Edmodo.